Hello, everybody. This is Ryan Koki of the Seahawks Recap Show, and welcome to the Seahawks game recap. Seahawks versus 49ers on Thursday Night Football for Week 12 on Thanksgiving night. Happy Thanksgiving to all my American viewers. And it looks like it's another loss for the Seahawks, and it wasn't a good one. I'm sorry if this video is low energy. Um, you know, it just isn't a good game when you get blown out and completely stomped by your opponent. So there's not much positive to talk about, but I'm still here to recap this game for you guys. Anyways, I just apologize to anybody who is a fan of Seattle that watched this game live. Anyways, it was a 31-13 49ers win over the Seahawks at home. And let's talk about the Seahawks stats, shall we? So they had 220 total yards, 132 passing yards, 88 rushing yards, 4.1 yards per play, 14 first downs. They went 3 for 11 on third down. What else is new? They went 0 for 1 on fourth down, had 54 total plays, 6 sacks allowed, 5 punts, 5 penalties for 39 yards given up, had 1 fumble lost. This one was on a punt return from DJ Dallas. It was just a really weird spiral looking ball, and DJ Dallas just fumbles the punt and drops it, and the 49ers get it back. And we also had 1 interception thrown by Geno Smith to Ambari Thomas, who just read Geno's eyes and picked off the pass intended for Tyler Lockett. 24 minutes and 30 seconds of possession time is all we could muster in this game. For the 49ers, they had 377 total yards, 208 passing yards, 169 rushing yards, 5.8 yards per play, 22 first downs, 5 for 11 on third down. They didn't go for it on fourth down, had 65 total plays, 1 sack allowed, 5 punts, 3 penalties for 20 yards given up, 0 fumbles, and they had 1 interception thrown. This was from Brock Purdy to Jordan Brooks, who scored the only touchdown for the Seahawks in this game. That is how bad the offense was in this game. They also had 35 minutes and 30 seconds of possession time. Ryan's focus players. Let's talk about Geno Smith for a second. 18 for 27, 180 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. And honestly, I know it's a short week. I know you didn't have much time to prepare against a juggernaut like the 49ers, but I expected you guys to play better. And I don't know why I expected the Seahawks to play better on offense, because our offense has been awful this entire year. I don't understand what's going on, but I hope Geno Smith can get better for week 13, because we really desperately, now at 6-5, need a win over the Cowboys, and it's another short week, so we just need a win here. We get to the running back, and Zach Charbonnet, 14 carries, 47 yards, 3.4 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns. And with Kenneth Walker maybe missing at least another week or two, Zach Charbonnet looks to be the starting running back, and his strength is running in between the tackles, but it's really hard to do that when you've got a defensive line composed of Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave, and Chase Young. That's a really difficult and mean defensive line to go up against. And yeah, he tried his best, but we need to make sure that if we're going to use Zach Charbonnet, that we run inside. If we're going to use an outside run, we need to use like a Kenny McIntosh to get something there. At wide receiver, we have Jackson Smith and Jigba. He had 2 receptions for 41 yards, averaged 20.5 yards per reception, 0 touchdowns. And the reason why I gave it to Jackson Smith and Jigba is due to the fact that the 49ers secondary held all Seahawks wide receivers to less than 4 receptions. I gave it to Jackson Smith because he made a phenomenal catch, also a one-handed catch. I forget who it was on, but he made a fantastic one-handed catch, and that shows why he was the first wide receiver off the board in the 2023 draft. He is so electrifying, and now he's finally getting to grips with this system. And I hope that Jackson Smith-Njigba has a great rest of the season. And I'm looking forward also to seeing what he does next year with a year under his belt. We get to the 49ers side of the ball, and this offense is just something else. Brock Purdy, 21 for 30, 209 yards, one touchdown to Brendan Ayuk, and of course the pick six to Jordan Brooks. But man, even when hurried, even when the pocket is kind of collapsing, which it didn't much, but even on his 8 hurries in the game, Brock Purdy was still threading the needle against the Seahawks team. And it's really hard to prepare for Brock Purdy, but he's looking like a very good player in the future. And it's nice to see from a young QB like himself. And we get to one of the many dynamic weapons. It's Christian McCaffrey, 19 carries, 114 yards, averaged 6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. That's mental, man. I loved Christian McCaffrey as a Panther, and I like him as a 49er, but he's a pain in the butt when he's a 49er because he's now utilizing every single skill set he has in his repertoire. He can play wide receiver, he can play running back, and he runs hard as a runner with so much elusiveness that make people miss in open field. It's insane. But we get to another elusive weapon, and they're full of them. It's Deebo Samuel. 7 receptions, 79 yards, averaged 11.3 yards per reception, 0 receiving touchdowns, but had 4 carries, 14 yards, averaged 3.8 yards per carry, and had 1 rushing touchdown. So just like Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel can be a running back, and it's insane because he's so fast, so shifty that he also makes people miss. And that's why there were so many missed tackles from the Seahawks defense. Because what do you do? What do you do to prepare against Deebo Samuel? What do you do to prepare against Christian McCaffrey? They're going to make you miss. You just need to be ready to have at least 2 guys ready to make a tackle when somebody eventually misses. Speaking of the Seahawks defense, let's talk about Leonard Williams. 2 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. And honestly, I gave it to him because those 2 solo tackles that he had were a tackle for loss on both of them. And he's been trying his heart out to get pass rush. But against an O-line like the 49ers, you got Trent Williams, who's just a monster there. Like, he's a rock. You try to move him, good luck. You're not going to get past him that easily. And he's a big guy, but he moves really quickly and can stop any defensive pass rush that's coming his way. So, decent game from Leonard Williams. I just wish I saw more pressure applied to Brock Purdy in this game. DB, and it's Julian Love, 5 solo tackles, 4 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. And I love Julian Love because he is insane. With a lot of missed tackles in this game, like I've mentioned before by the Seahawks defense, he was there to try and clean up the slack. He was there to, he was always the second man to the ball, trying to hit it out or trying to make the secure tackle. And he was just there to make that secure tackle on some of these very talented people on the 49ers offense. So it was really nice to see from Julian Love. Next up, we got Jordan Brooks, 7 solo tackles, 5 assisted, 0 sacks, 1 interception, and that was the pick six that scored the only touchdown for the team. Just insane. Sorry, Jordan Brooks, that we couldn't help out much on offense because it shouldn't be up to you to score the only touchdown of the game. But even when Bobby Wagner retires, I think Jordan Brooks will be just fine. I think this middle linebacking core will be just fine because Jordan Brooks is turning into a standout linebacker. I love having him on this team, and I can't wait to see what he does for us in the future. Let's get to somebody that I hate seeing, and it's the 49ers defense. Just all of it. I just hate seeing all of it. But I especially hate seeing Nick Bosa. 3 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 2 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. And again, Nick Bosa, Von Hargrave, Eric Armstead, and Chase Young. That's unfair. Like, that's no. You can't have all 4 of them on that line. That's not right. That's not right. It's a video game kind of lineup. And who are you gonna block in that situation? Oh, I'm gonna double team Nick Bosa. Okay, Chase Young's gonna get at you. Oh, I'm gonna double team Chase Young. Nick Bosa is gonna get at you. And that's what happens. That's why you see the 49ers at the top of the NFC when it comes to teams competing for the Super Bowl this year. And Let's give a shout out to their secondary because Tre'Davious Ward, 3 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. But man, he was everywhere this game, and there's a reason why no wide receiver on the Seahawks offense had more than 3 receptions this game because Tre'Davious Ward was just on him, breaking up passes to not only DK Metcalf, but also to Tyler Lockett. And it's just insane. Tre'Davious Ward, an underrated corner. I really like watching him play. I wish he didn't play this well against the Seahawks, but what you going to do? He's a very harsh competitor and a very good corner to boot. Next up is the linebacker Dre Greenlaw. 5 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. This man can do it all. Again, another do it all kind of guy. He can pass coverage, but he loves making big hits and, stopping the run. And that's exactly what he did in this game to stop Zach Charbonnet between the tackles if he got up to the second level. So let's get into Ryan's final thoughts. What went well? Again, it's a blowout, so nothing really went well, but pick 6 from Jordan Brooks was nice. Good job from him. And there were some flashy plays in there. JSN's one-handed catch comes to mind. That was very nice. I can't wait to see what happens with him in the future. And you know what? I'm also going to throw something else in there. Only gave up 5 penalties the entire game for the Seahawks. That's a miracle considering they gave up 12 last week for 130 yards. So we're improving on that front. I just wish our offense would do a lot more in these types of games. What to improve on? You can't give up 21 points in the first half against a team like the 49ers with so many weapons on both sides of the ball and expect to come back and win it. 24-3 at the half. And again, it took Jordan Brooks a miracle play, pick 6, to try and get us even closer. But at the end of the day, 13 points is all we could muster. 2 field goals in that game was all we could muster from an offensive perspective. That is not good enough, considering that we have the Cowboys on another short week in week 13. I don't know what we're going to do there. I have no idea, but we need to play better. We need to figure out what's going on. And honestly, Shane Waldron, if you can't figure out what's going on, you need to get the hell out because you, an offensive coordinator, makes me want to go down to Seattle and take your job. Final thoughts. Honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm not even going to yell. I'm just disappointed. I said in the previous week, in week 11, it was a must-win game against the Rams. And what do you know? We're now 6-5 after dropping that Rams game that we needed to win. Congrats to the 49ers and San Francisco. You guys are a brilliant team. You guys have an amazing team. And to see you guys be efficient on both sides of the ball is just insane to watch. I wish you wouldn't do it against the Seahawks, but you're in my division, so you're going to beat up on us twice a year. There's a reason why you are one of the NFC's top teams to potentially make a Super Bowl run. Now, for the Seahawks, and I'm going full camp for this one. Okay? You're 6-5. Please, for the love of all that is holy, get more than 16 points next week. Get more than 13 points next week because the only reason why you got a touchdown in this game and it wasn't 31-6 was due to the miraculousness of Jordan Brooks and the defense. Please show up offense. You need to. You have all the weapons in the world. You need to show up. This is not acceptable at this point. You fall to 6-6 against the Cowboys next week. I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm probably not even going to make a video. It's not okay. But anyways, this is Ryan Koki. I'm sorry if the video was low energy. But I hope we come back in week 13 and at least get a win and try to break this 2-game losing streak that we're now on. Because I don't know if we fall to a 3-game losing streak, I don't know what I'll do. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll come back to the channel on Saturday as I will have News of the Week, episode number 16, out for you then. And don't forget that it is a Thursday night game against the Cowboys next week, so I will be recapping that for you then as well. Anyways, have a good week, and this is Ryan Koki of the Seahawks Recap Show, signing off. Go Hawks go, and let's hope we get to 7-5 on the season next week.